Listen up, guys. It's not nothing about nobody else right now. It's about us. It's our change. It's our time. Do your part. Everybody play a part today. Last year was last year. This shit over. Make your own identity. Make something different.
Yeah, I'm about to step in the ring for the fight of my life. Hit my knees and I strap on my gloves. Boy, I've been prepping since like I was.
And welcome to the latest edition of the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. I'm Sean Robertson. Great to have you with us on YouTube as well as VUU's athletic website. We got a lot to talk about this week. A lot of shakeup took place in the CIAA over the last 7 days. Virginia Union took care of their business for homecoming, but they are in the mix for the CIAA North Division title. And we'll talk a lot about that throughout the course of the show. Joining us as always is the head coach of Virginia Union, Dr. Alvin Parker, who enjoyed homecoming to the tune of 57-0 over, you were saying this, a really good, talented Lincoln team, but you guys again jumped on them early and did not let up against the Lions.
We're playing well. We're playing some good ball right now. I think October tells a lot about your team. In the CIAA is that it's that month that kind of says it. Says kind of how your future is going to be. And I think these guys are playing extremely well. The coaches are doing a great job of having these guys in position, and the players are just playing well. They're having fun. And that's the good part about it right now. Those guys are having a bunch of fun, so I like to see.
Well, let's talk about this stretch. You guys have won 4 straight since the Fayetteville game. I think it's 198 points you've scored. You've allowed 30. The last 2 weeks, the total is 109-3. And you've allowed 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games total. Can you pinpoint one thing? Is there one thing in this stretch that stands out about them having fun to the tune of 198-30?
It's tough to say one thing and when you're putting it together like that, Sean. But the defense is playing lights out. Lights out. Their numbers improve every week. Their numbers are already good, and when I think they can't get any better, they go out there and do something else. So they're playing well as a whole. I think everybody's doing their part, and that's kind of what we talk about a lot with the team. Everybody has to do your part, and everybody's doing their part. And, when you get those type of wins and you put together them type of string of victories, everybody has to do their part for you to get those type of results. So, like I said, I'm proud of the guys, more than anything else, because they're buying a total buy-in to what we're asking for. We started the year off, it was a buy-in, and we've seen a lot. And I explained to everybody that we had so many guys that were capable of making plays, but now, the world is getting to see what I seen all the way from last spring, that we have so many guys that are capable of making plays. So different guys are making plays on a week in and week out basis. So, we looked at it from an offensive perspective early in the week. 8 guys touched the ball on runs last week. 8 guys touched the ball, separate guys touched the ball on passes last week. So that just talks about, we had 3 different guys throw a touchdown, so it just talks about, just the depth of our team, on defense, the stat sheet just don't stop with all the guys making tackles, breakups, interceptions, sacks, and everything else. So, it's just a bunch of guys making plays.
We were talking about this last week. You were really impressed with how Lincoln's quarterback had played all season. And then he comes on, to the game on Saturday, and it you just, I won't say made him average, but you made him uncomfortable in a lot of situations, and to a point where, he maybe was looking more of the rush as opposed to looking at his progressions. Did you get it? Did you notice that during the course of the game, and how were you able to make him uncomfortable and make him play much differently as he did during the course of the season before that game?
I think our front 4 did a great job, making sure that they applied the pressure, but our guys on the back end did a great job of covering, so that was a good, indicator how things are going to go. We started the game off like that, what I'm saying? So, and I think everybody took it as a personal challenge to make sure they played their best, not just because it was like homecoming or anything else, just because we were playing a good team. So those guys just kind of, made a personal effort to do their best at every position. So, and our guys on the back did an awesome job of just locking down their guys. So, those hats off to those guys, but we put some pressure on them up front, and the guys on the back end did a great job.
We also talked last week, it was homecoming, the challenge of kind of getting a team focused, because the intention was on the team. It was everybody, that are on campus, who are coming back to campus.
Yeah.
This was the event to come to see how Union was going to play, and it just seemed like total focus from the opening kick to the end of the game for those guys.
It was. I think it's something that kind of started earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
That we kind of seen. We start practice on that Tuesday, kind of when we get back at it. That's pretty much our hard day. And when those guys got out there on Tuesday, I saw it. Saw it again on Wednesday. Saw it again on Thursday. And it led into the weekend that those guys were extremely focused. Nobody really mentioned a lot about homecoming, but which is why I hope all those guys had a great time on Saturday because they deserved it because they put all the chips to the middle of the table during the week. So the focus was always there, and they've shown that the last 4 or 5 weeks just a different level of focus. They came into the season with a good focus, but they've shown a different level of focus the last 4 to 5 weeks.
3 players recognized by the CIAA this week as Offensive Lineman of the Week, Defensive Lineman of the Week, and Running Back of the Week or Offensive Back of the Week with Jaden.
Yeah, we didn't get that. He had a bunch of touchdowns. He didn't get it. I think the only one that they got honored straight up and down, probably if I correct me if I'm wrong or somebody, I think was Justin.
Okay.
Which is surprising because it was our largest victory of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of guys, but they just was spread out
Mm-hmm.
on who kind of did what. On Saturday. So probably nothing as high in the stat department that anybody was looking at, but just a spread out total team effort.
The last 2 weeks, I mean, I don't want to throw the word perfect, but the last 2 weeks it seemed like everything came together perfectly, offensively, defensively, special teams. It just seemed like 2 close to perfect games for you guys in back-to-back weeks.
I tell them guys all the time, if it's not perfect, it's not right. But
it's hard to look at that tape and say
it's definitely hard to look at it because I've seen so many plays being made. Plays that guys don't necessarily get on the stat sheet for when you see them being made. And so I saw a lot of those type of plays. But it's been some good ball. Like I said, as a coach, it's been fun to watch. But I think all those guys is just, like I said, taking a personal effort to make sure they go out there and lay it on the line and do their best. We have a group of unselfish kids that, only got one goal in mind right now. So, and all of us, if you're in our room and you know what it is, everybody's kind of looking the same way. We got those blinders on, the same thing them horses wear that everybody's kind of tunnel vision looking straight at the goal that's ahead. So, it's just that.
Well, you've been wearing that all year, that shirt that says Play for 11. And we'll talk about that later in the show. We're going to come back with our Player Lounge segment. We're going to talk to 2 of the players on the defensive side of the ball that was a part of that shutout against Lincoln on Saturday. You're watching the Alvin Parker Coaches Show, and we'll be back after this.
The styles you want, the brands you love, with the service you deserve. Better Menswear. From formal to casual wear, we carry quality men's clothing at sensible prices, where fashion and service meet affordability. That is Better Menswear.
Welcome back to the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. This is our Players Lounge segment. We get to talk to a couple of the athletes on the football team as they gear up for Bluefield State final road trip of the season and the regular season. They hoping to make one more in Salem in a couple of weeks. But we got Raylan Manley. Raylan. I was close. Raylan Manley and also Jalen Mayo. I was practicing that all throughout the break and still screwed up. I can't do that. Guys, we want to welcome you to the Players Lounge segment here on the Coaches Show. Congratulations on the win at homecoming. Did you get a chance to at least celebrate a little bit on Saturday?
Yeah,
got to enjoy homecoming a little bit.
Yeah, we celebrated.
Cool. Coach was talking about all week your laser focus. Really, there was not much talk about the activities leading up to the game. How were you guys able to focus solely on the game and then worry about homecoming afterwards?
I could say we just treat it like a normal week. We gotta go 1-0 every week. We weren't really focused on the game. We can party another time, so we just worry about the dub. And coaches, they was hyping them up a lot, so it was like a challenge on ourselves and amongst the game.
Pretty much the same thing like he said. Like, we feel content, like, at the end of the week when we check off all the boxes, knowing that we doing good. Like, we about to go out here on Saturday and play some football and win the game. We can party after.
And y'all certainly did that. Party on the field, party off the field with the victory. I mean, we were talking about how good Lincoln had been this year. This was not the old Lincoln team that you could just say, okay, they come on the game, we're going to get the W. This was a solid Lincoln team, and you guys made them made them look kind of average during the course of the game. Talk to me about setting the tone early against their offense, especially because their quarterback has been talked about throughout the conference, and you guys really did a good job of getting him out of his spot, getting him uncomfortable, making some wrong plays. How were you guys able to do that?
So I can say, as long as everybody's locked in on one accord, we just get our job done, focus on making our plays when they come to us. It wasn't really so for like stopping him. It was like just winning the game, not making the game bad on ourselves. So just playing football.
Yeah, I feel like the front four just wreaked havoc and just had them running all around the field, and us in the back end, we just in the sky. We take anything that come out there.
What's been the difference the last 2 weeks? I mentioned to Coach the numbers is 109-3. The team has outscored their opponent. No touchdowns in the last 2 weeks allowed, just that field goal against Bowie. And I think it's been, my math is right, it's like 80-some points straight without the opponent scoring. What's been working the last 2 weeks to really kind of take it to Bowie and Lincoln the way that you've been doing?
Just everyone doing their job, everybody buying into the program.
Kind of the same thing, stick to the scheme. Just be in the right place at the right time, do your part. That's our motto of the year, do your part for Play for 11.
Coach talked about that since the spring. How easy was the buy-in when Coach had mentioned that during the spring? Because it seemed like, I mean, even the Fayetteville game, he was right there at the very end. But that has translated throughout the course of the year. How easy was the buy-in for the guys?
I can say the buy-in was pretty easy because we all had the same goal. You know, just to stick on that goal, we all had to do things, sacrifice, and do the things we don't want to do just to be great.
Pretty much
Same thing.
Hey.
How difficult was it to sacrifice? Everybody wants, I won't say some guys want to do it their way. You know, they're happy with the win, but they're happy to do it in a certain way. How difficult has it been to sacrifice individual accomplishments for the greater good, which is to play in a championship game, win a conference title, go deep in the playoffs? How has it been challenging for you guys to sacrifice individually, or?
Nah, not to me. I don't think so. I feel like we're ready. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
I feel like we could go play against anybody and we're gonna win.
Yeah, definitely.
Saturday, final regular season road game, Bluefield State. You guys are perfect on the road this year. Seem like, at times, y'all wanted to play on the road to a certain degree. One more challenge with Bluefield State. What's the mindset right now to gear for that game?
Go 1-0. We just go 1-0 every week. Check the boxes, do our job.
Same thing.
Check the boxes. Yeah, go out there Saturday and we ready to play.
Side by side.
Side by side, hand in hand.
Okay. When you heard some scores in the CIAA, obviously the one that surprised everything was Elizabeth City beating Virginia State. Were you guys surprised by that score when you heard it?
Nah, I wasn't.
Because I knew they was beatable the whole time. They always
And you had played Elizabeth, so you knew how tough they were.
Yeah. I mean, I was hurt that game. I didn't play, but yeah, I mean, I always ECU not a bad team. They just, a lot of our guys went there, go there. Our old coach, he coaches there.
Yeah.
So just a lot of transferring, but I'm glad he got the win out and for sure shook the conference up a little bit.
It did, no question about it. Still talking about as far as that shakeup. Well, guys, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on the win against Lincoln. Good luck to you guys against Bluefield State.
Appreciate you.
All right, our Players Lounge segment, two of the top defensive players in the CIAA at Virginia Union as they gear up for a showdown against Bluefield State this coming Saturday. We got the coach for our final segment to talk about that game and, like we mentioned, the shakeup in the CIAA. That's next on the Alvin Parker Coaches Show.
Football is more than a game. It's a legacy built by trailblazers who paved the way for the next generation. I remember the doubters, but I refuse to let anyone define my limits. To the game changers who came before us and to the ones who are yet to step into the field, keep pushing boundaries, keep breaking records, and keep leaving your mark.
All right, we're back for our final segment on this week's edition of the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. The final regular season road test for the Panthers is this Saturday at Bluefield State, the newest member of the CIAA. 1-6, 1-7. Okay, record doesn't look that great. You say any given Saturday, you can be had. I'm assuming that's the message that you would tell the team this week. Throw that record out the window for Bluefield State.
Yeah, I mean, we just prepare like we normally prepare. I think, you prepare for them just like you're preparing for a team that if the record was 8-0, you know what I'm saying? Because, you got to keep your vision in mind and your mission in mind before you look what anybody else is doing. So we haven't prepared for them differently than we prepared for anybody else. So, every day this week was the same, as we normally would do. So those guys came in at the beginning of the week, Sunday locked in, looking for what was next. It's just the next step to try to get to where we're trying to go.
You mentioned how important October has been for you guys. When you prepare, is it more about what you guys need to do as opposed to what to take away from an opponent?
I think you just need to make sure you're trending and peaking in the right direction at the right time of the year. Sometimes you're figuring some things out early on in the season. You figure some things out about your team, because this team, I think, although we have some guys that were here last year, we had a lot of new guys too, and we had some guys that stepped up in some different roles this year. So, trying to figure out what the mindset, the attitude, the possibilities for what this team can accomplish. We spent the first part of the season kind of doing that, so now that we kind of, got everything in place like we wanted, we just want, like I said, make sure we're trending and, and peaking in the right direction. And I think we are.
4 straight wins right now, tied with State in the conference in the North. Both of you guys have a loss. Everybody, I've been talking to, I know circle November 4th because everything's on the line there. If you guys take care of business Saturday and they take care of business against Lincoln, I guess there's really not a challenge of looking ahead, given what took place in the conference this past week. That, I guess, would be, hey, let's focus on us and not worrying about the peripheral.
Absolutely. We don't really talk about anybody else around here. Because when you keep your destiny in your own hands, you don't have to talk about anybody else. I think last year we gave a little bit of that and a little bit of that inside of our program where we had to count on some other people doing some things down the stretch because we didn't necessarily take care of the business that we were supposed to take care of. So now it's easy. The only thing we got to do is control what we're going on 1,500. And as long as we control that and we make sure that goes in the direction we need to go in, everything else will fall into place. So, and these guys, I feel good about it with this group. Like I said, they do everything I ask them to do. They show up ready to work every day, just the way I ask them. And again, they're locked in.
I know you mentioned that during your media availability this week about the fact, late October, in a position where you don't have to look over your shoulder, you don't have to do any scoreboard watching. If you win 2 games, you're in the conference championship game on November 11th.
Just as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just as simple as that, So I think we just focus on that. A lot of times you tell the guys, focus on the things that you can control. Those are the things that we can control. We control, what we'll be playing in that second week of November, as long as we do what we're supposed to do.
Big game on Saturday, very important in the standings in the North for Virginia Union. A win against Bluefield State. They will be home next Saturday in a possible winner-take-all showdown against their arch rivals, Virginia State, for the CIAA North. But first things first, Union has to take care of Bluefield State. Virginia State has to take care of business against Lincoln at their senior day. And if everything plays out right, we'll be back next week talking about winner take all the chips in the in the middle of the table. Talking about that next week.
Bluefield right now.
Bluefield. I know. And with that, we will leave it there. Thanks to Coach and also the players for joining us this week. Bluefield this Saturday, 1:00. Catch it on the CIAA Sports Network, and then we will be back here next week to recap that game and set the stage for Senior Day at Hovey Stadium, Virginia State, Virginia Union. 1:00. It'll be on national television. And like I said, if everything plays out, it'll be for the CIAA North. That is next week. We'll talk to you then. I'm Sean Robertson. For everybody for the Alvin Parker Coaches Show, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
I'm already covered in blood. Walking in love. This for the ones who've been stuck in the mud. Searching for hope. Trust me, I know what it feel like to drown in my problems, but God came and threw me the rope. Can't wait to look in his eyes. All of my life I've been battling lies. I found the truth and took off my disguise. Come for my head, I still live for the prize. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was in the city going down, trying to blow. Everything changed when I let it go.